And how are you? Cheers.
Better now I've got a glass of red in front of me.
Spiced cranberry and cherry premium cider.
You're mixing it up on the drinks. Where did that one come from?
This is another Aldi purchase, obviously.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought, I mix it up every week. It's going to appeal to some people some weeks, isn't it?
I would agree. I think you should start with a review. Is that
so it's quite nice. It's in a nice can. It's a good size. Plus, it doesn't really look alcoholic.
It doesn't. You could definitely get away with drinking that on the park bench or at the side of Nemo Raceway, and no one would even bat an eyelid.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a good thing. Not that I do walk around town drinking, but 4% alcohol.
I thought that was a Newbury standard thing to just sort of cruise around town middle of the day.
It 100% is for certain people. When I used to do a lot of postage from home, and I'd do a lunchtime trip to the post office every day, I would always see them and wonder if they thought I was one of them because I was in town every day. But I never had a can of special brew.
I wonder who was really winning in that scenario, because they just sat there chilling and having a nice beer.
Sat there drinking off of money they maybe didn't earn.
Possibly.
And there's me walking to a post office and posting parcels for £4 for a £2 part. But there we go.
I hope you had people complain at the £4 charge as well.
100%.
Good. I like that. That's good news. So otherwise, how's your week been? You been good?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, I've got to be honest, probably the most bored I've been at a weekend to date.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it rained all weekend, didn't it? I lost all enthusiasm for tidying the house because I've done it 7 million times in the past 2 weeks.
Yes.
And basically did nothing. And by the end of the evening, I was kind of pulling my hair out because I had done nothing. And I was just about to go out and wash the car, and it started hailstoning. So I was like, nah. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, it's definitely getting more difficult to pack out these weekends of not racing. That's definitely for sure. But I think we're on the home stretch. I don't think it's going to be too long. Fingers crossed that we're going to be out racing again in some capacity. So yeah, it was a good weekend. They always fly by quite quickly, I think. For whatever reason, even when you're doing nothing, they fly by. Not for you. Time stood still this time.
Isn't it weird when, I've always loved my job, so it's a bit weird for me to say, but isn't it weird when a person looks forward to Monday or going to work to do something?
That is weird.
But, I've always loved it anyway. But for the normal person, that sounds correct.
Yes, I would agree. So what we're going to cover first, shall we do a Leroy shout out down the side? See if we've got anybody watching.
Well, we're definitely going to have to do that because it would be against.
It wouldn't be us.
It wouldn't be us.
No.
So first online. Well, let me change to live chat. There we go. Sometimes it gives a different group of people, but there we go. Davey Rose, evening guys. Hope you both had a good week. Well, we just discussed our weekend, and I'm sure we'll talk about weeks in a minute. Robert Glenn says, evening. Hey Lee, got my truggy built over the weekend. Build was super smooth. I'll post pics on Facebook Drivers Group when I get the body back from paint. So that's a good news. Good news.
Nice. Yeah, very good. Awesome.
Claire Eggleton, which is Cakes by Claire. Good evening, guys, from Claire, Kevin, and Elise. I swear they've got that copy and pasted.
Yeah, exactly. It's like our show script.
Craig Homer says, evening, guys, using you as my guinea pig for the 12-year-old laptop I've just put Linux on.
Blimey.
Is that right saying for that, Linux?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Quake, one of our regulars.
Yes.
Quake, evening all. He's also questioning the Linux thing. Sarah Campbell's online from Sarah and Craig. Evening to both of you. Craig Homer is still talking about his Linux. Yaz is online. He says, hi, guys. The Peter Gray from down south says, hello, gents. Question, who is your all-time favourite hero of RC? We'll pick that up in a bit. We can't pick each other, he says. I'm fed up with the Linux talk. Andy B says, good evening, guys, from Blackpool. Martin Waters says, evening. Craig Homer, he's still talking about Linux. Lyndon Hammer, good evening, guys. Hope you're all safe and well. Gavin is hello, chappin. Hello, chaps. Duncan Riss says, evening, Jon Lee, and all evening, Delia, our second favourite, middle favourite, equal favourite baker.
Favourite male baker?
Favourite male baker and stripper. Winston Barnett says, "What's up, peeps?" Ben Kennett says, "Evening all, evening, Ben Kennett. Arvinder is online, evening, chaps. Arvinder is always around the same place with the same saying every week."
Awesome. We love Arvinder.
Yep, we do. Live N5RC said, "Good evening, gents." TFR CEO, my good friend Brad says, "Yo, gents." As he's from Wisconsin, I'm sure he's saying that in a British accent as he says it.
Nicely.
Brian Burrows says, "Evening, everyone." Yo-Yo says, "Yo, yo, yo."
Yo-yo.
Dave Belston says, "Good evening, gentlemen." Dave, nice to see you back for a second week in a row. You're obviously getting back into this RC stuff. Simon Lee says, "Good evening." Evening, Simon. Chewy Gambling. Evening, gents and viewers. Ivan Bingham says, "Thanks, John."
Anytime, Ivan, anytime.
Craig Homer says, "Need a brown bag." I'm sure that's for the alcohol, and we don't. John
Yes.
might.
Possibly. As long as I can get out of a brown bagged version of this glass, we'll be all right.
Saying that, you could go like full on French and have the clear bag with wine in, squeezing it into your mouth.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it has been known.
Manny Panasar is online. He says, "Hello there, chaps." Hello, Manny. Nobby Lemoyne. Evening, chaps. Nobby's quite far down the list, but he does go to work about this time, I think.
Yes.
Kong McKenzie is back with his amazing emoji things, and he says, "Hi all, how long till racing? Kong, 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 Kong."
Well, hopefully very soon. Obviously, we're aiming for the Easter race, which is not going to be what we were hoping. I think realism is going to have to take place, and it will be if we can do it, it's going to be a smaller entry than what we'd originally planned. I think we might cover this last week, but my memory is poor. We'd got about 230 entries for that, so it was looking to be a really strong race. I think we need to be sensible with it, and we'll be trying to make sure we get in the guys that entered early and that have supported us and stuff like that. So hopefully we're going to get that race in. If we could get one in before it, that would be mega, wouldn't it? Even if it's just a small race, just to brush the dust off a little bit. I think that would be quite cool to do. So as soon as we can get back out, we're going to be back out. Our man, Mr. Truman's keeping the place tip top and ready to rock and roll as soon as we get a green light to be able to do those events. So soon, hopefully, buddy.
Perfecto. James Mole says, "Evening." Molly.
How many of those Audi specials have you had to drink already?
This is the first one, and I haven't had much out of it.
I can't wait for the second one.
I haven't got another. Phil Truman, the one and only, he says, "Hi, one and all."
Hero.
You are the one and only. Darren Warburton says, "Good evening, everyone. Hope we are keeping safe and well." Good evening.
Daz.
Dave Blakely is online. He says, "Cheers, gents."
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Big Sai says, "Evening all. Like the new vid at the track, RE Fuel. John, you could have smiled a bit."
That was me smiling. I often have that. I have one of those faces that looks like I'm miserable, but I'm not. And it's plagued me for 42 years, unfortunately. This is probably not going to change anytime soon. That's my resting face.
Andy V, wife in bed early, so got you on the 65-inch screen tonight.
Shortly followed by another reputable channel, no doubt.
Scott Follington says, "Evening, guys." Evening, Scott and Trev, if he's with you. And Martin Hart says, "Evening, chaps."
Action man.
Evening, evening. And that is Lee Martin's shout-outs all caught up, done.
It was nice. It allowed me to drink nearly a glass of wine while you were doing that. So it was quite a good, healthy shout-out tonight.
I'm buzzing.
So what has been happening in the world of Nemo and RC? Have you got anything for us? Because we're getting thin on the ground now with lockdown of what we've got. Although we do have hot in from the US some results, but we'll come to that.
We do. I mean, we've got the small closet feature, which I sent you.
Oh, did you send me one?
I sent some pictures. I guess you'd zoned out by that point.
You getting out of the shower? I didn't realise that's what we were actually featuring.
Yeah, well, I told you I'd bring a nice member.
Okay, I'm looking for it. How did you send it to me?
It's all right. We'll just do it.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good.
I was clutching at straws, and as I was rushing to get ready, like normal, I just grabbed something out of the kids' bedroom. So
fantastic.
Here it is.
Let's go
straight into
it. With no further ado, what is in your closet, Mr. Lee Martin?
With no further ado, it's a trophy.
Wow.
We are semi-clutching at straws now. I will get some cooler stuff out next week, but where I keep my stuff is not easy to get to. So here it is. It's one of the only ones I'm allowed to keep in the house because it looks pretty.
Okay. It looks nice. It looks like you did something that was decent, but I can't read.
Yeah, it's quite an important one. This one kind of kick-started the career.
Is that an SRS round? Is it an important one?
No. It's 2010 European Championship top qualifier in two-wheel drive.
Look at that.
There's that. And I went on, as many people know now, to win the event and the four-wheel drive one. I had a matching pair of these. One broken.
How did you break that?
I actually did. A friend's daughter was round. Tash, Jack Emblin's sister, back in, remember Jack?
Yes.
It was in James. They live in James's room, and it just got knocked off the windowsill, and then it disconnected, so it's not standard. Oh. I don't even know where it went, to be fair. But yeah, top qualifier. Obviously, that kind of kick-started my career in RC. Before that, it was a glorified hobby, you could say.
Where was that at? Anyway, that Euros, I don't remember.
So this was Austria.
Right.
In a place called Reiskirchen.
Oh, not the furry ring.
Not the furry ring, no. That was 2012. So yeah, this was Reiskirchen. Been there quite a lot of times, to be fair. And a friend of mine, Nick Goodall, put a video online the other day, but it's only shared to people that were in the video. And it was of my first ever Euros, which is at the same track.
Wow.
So my first ever European Championship was 99. Same track where I won in 2010, so 11 years later.
That's pretty impressive. Do you find, like, with the 10 scale stuff, there's not quite as much track choice when you get into Europe? Or is it similar to 8 scale, where there seems to be, when you get into Europe, there seems to be so many tracks everywhere that are capable of holding a Euros event? It's easier to find one that hasn't got the facilities to do one rather than one that has.
Yeah, we very rarely go back to the same one.
Yeah.
That we did, but 11 years difference, it was completely different.
Yeah.
Like, it was nothing the same, apart from the rostrum and the actual fence line and everything.
Yeah.
And now it's changed again. It's not dirt anymore. It's carpet now, I think, or Astro, one of the two. I think it's carpet.
Right.
But, we just wondering if we went to a place in Spain twice. God knows why, because it was the world's crappiest track for 10 scale. It is an 8 scale track. I don't know why we haven't went there the first time, let alone twice. Yeah, and other than that, we haven't done many repeats.
Is the not that I want to spend masses of time on 10 scale stuff, but is the 10th Euro still pending to be at Robin Hood this year?
I actually don't know much more on it. I assume they just moved it on a year, but
yeah,
I haven't heard anything.
Would make sense, wouldn't it? Because that would be the second time for them as well, wouldn't it? They had, because you won that one, I think, didn't you?
Second time, different track.
Okay. So will that be on? That will be on the Astro this time, will it? Yeah. Blimey.
Yeah.
Blimey. Well, let's hope that gets in. I was speaking with our man, Mr. Kev Griffin, earlier on last week, actually, about some of the Euro events that are hopefully coming up, because it's not too long away from the Euros B and warm-ups and stuff like that. So seems to be that the current feeling is that they're trying to put those races on, which I think is good. Whether they actually happen or not is another thing. I think the Worlds might be a bit of a stretch, but we'll see. Brazil feels a long way away.
In both contents of the word, it's a long way away and quite difficult to get to without a pandemic.
Yeah, I would have thought so. But let's hope we can get to some of those Euro races towards the end of the year. They certainly seem to be planning that, and there's quite a lot of talk going on at the moment, isn't there, about the fuel and the percentages and stuff for that, which I know is a bit more prevalent in Europe than it is for us over here. Now we're not in the EU, but yeah, there's definitely some big hope that they're going to be putting those races on, from what I could feel, in my opinion, from what I was being told.
Even if they do it really late in the year, go to Padova or something.
Yeah.
Just rock it, or go to Nemo Raceway.
Absolutely. Yeah. Welcome with open arms to everyone into the of Nemo.
Yeah.
So that was a nice closet feature. We're going to bring in Mr. Rumble a bit later on, and he's going to do his own closet feature, hopefully. I've asked him to have something lined up. I've got absolutely no idea what that might be. So
Is
that
it
could be
his own coming out of the closet?
Well, it could be. We're going to have to wait for the entertainment. And I'm sure Mr. Rumble's not going to disappoint us on that front. So let's move on to the only racing that I know of, which again was in the States with our man Billy, and it was at Thornhill again, which obviously in Texas. Fantastic facility. Lots of you will know I went there relatively recently for the Raw Nats. I was just blown away by how good an indoor stroke almost outdoor track can be. But anyway, they had a one-day, get this, they had a one-day race on. I had 277 entries at a one-day race. If you could get your head round how that even actually worked, I've no idea.
What time did it start and finish?
I've no idea. It must have started at like 3 in the morning and finished at 3 the next day or something. It must have been a 24-hour race. However, our man Brandon actually came home with a win in e-buggy class. As you can probably see from that picture, there were some fairly handy drivers in that, including Mr. Jared Tebow. I think he's there in 5th in that one. So an unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable performance. Just keeps going from strength to strength. Now, Thornhill is a local track for Brandon, so I think that helps us as well. But even still, just like you've still got to wheel the thing round. And when you're up against some of the world's best, I think that's an incredible performance. They also ran Nitro 2. He came away, he TQ'd round 1 of qualifying. Again, pretty amazing. Ended up having a bit of a mare in the race itself. I think he qualified 3rd. Tebow won the Nitro race, so obviously got himself back into form. And Brandon had to drive back from 14th on lap 1 to 5th, but still awesome results. I can only presume they were quite quick finals as well, because you're not going to be having hour-long mains when you've got 277 people to go through. So that was really cool to see a race result come back in again and see Brandon dusting himself back off a bit from his last race where he was so quick. And unfortunately, we didn't finish our classes for one reason or another. We had a fuel tank line split in nitro buggy, I think that was. And in truck, we had a servo horn fall off at our last race, which was the was it a Nitro Blast? I can't remember what it was now. What was it?
No, it was sick, wasn't it?
Sick, yeah, same people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sick, exactly that. So really good to sort of dust himself back off from that. Super cool result. Awesome to see. There's some racing going on. I'm sure they're all keeping well afterwards with 277 people. Hopefully so. But yeah, that was nice to see a race result come in for us, buddy. I think really a win in that field is so hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
it's never
by
easy.
16 years old. He's only 16, so I'm sure we'll struggle. Sure, we'll struggle to keep hold of him like we have with all of our juniors that we've come through. But we'll be doing our best to, because you think he's going to go a very long way in RC.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the first thing that strikes me is, what's Tebow doing there for a one-day race?
Don't know. I only just came in recently. I sort of chatted with Phil earlier on, and Phil had seen it. He'd obviously known there was a race going on, and I actually hadn't. So I texted Billy and said, I heard we did pretty good at the weekend. What was the lowdown kind of thing? And so he gave me a quick lowdown. But as to what Tebow was doing there, I don't know. Maybe, you know what? If I was in the States and I was a pro RC driver, I definitely would be looking to be based somewhere near there, like Ryan was for us originally when we were there with him at the Raw Nats. He was looking to relocate his whole family to there. It's such an amazing facility that it's just there, and you can just rock up and go and use it. Can only imagine it's going to make your applied trade better. The more you practice, the better you become. I think that's the case in any sport, isn't it? At the end of the day, you've got to have the natural talent to start with, but then you still got to go and actually hone those skills. So maybe, I don't know. Completely speculating as to why he was there, but like you say, it seems a bit odd to be there for a one-day race, but he was.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a 10,000-hour thing, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. True. Very, very true. I guess also from a sponsor's point of view, if you've got a local race or a regional race or whatever it might be with 277 people at it, it's probably a good place to be at to show your products to all those guys that predominantly in that case would be there in some capacity buying their product. So it's a good shop window, I suppose, to show how good your stuff is, or not.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we had it, we'd be there, wouldn't we? So
without a doubt. We're trying to make ours that. That's the thing, isn't it? Perhaps we'll have all the pros moving up to Gaydon.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We'll do a job lot on the housing that's being built there.
Yeah, so he did great. I saw the thing on Facebook earlier. I'm never on Facebook, but I looked this morning, just doing some of our online posts, and saw the results. So.
Oh, cool. That's good. I hadn't even seen that myself.
Yeah.
I went old school and picked up a telephone and said, "What's been going on?"
Yeah. What's happened? What's happened?
Exactly.
One day I'll get out to 4-0.
I keep saying to Billy, we need to get there. Again, I think we've probably covered this before in one of these shows in the lockdown, that we've got quite a big Nemo contingency that would love to go and do something over in the States, and makes absolute sense as we've got Nemo USA there to organise a bit of a Nemo tour. So but definitely once we can get that fully organised, we'll do that. And Texas makes sense because it's the home of Nemo USA. They've got Thornhill. They've got the Circuit of Americas. I'm sure there could be a pretty good road trip planned out for that one. You've got family there as well, so
family there. Plus, obviously, Billy's building a track.
Exactly, but yeah, exactly that. So Billy's building his version of Nemo USA track. So yeah, lots of reasons to get on that plane once we can get on it.
Yeah, once we're on, we're there. We're there. We're going to live there for ages. Yeah, just looking at a few comments coming in. Quake says Thornhill looks incredible. He can't wait to get out of lockdown again, because he's in lockdown over there, and go broke on spare parts and track fees.
Yeah, exactly. All the good things of RC.
All the good things.
Yeah, it is awesome there. I was very impressed.
So RC Jers says LCRC, I'm not sure who LCRC are, in Pennsylvania, USA, in 2020, the opener had 295 entries, no pre-registration. That's how many showed up for. Imagine booking them in.
Wow,
that's unbelievable. It says the Royal Nationals are going to be there this year, apparently.
So that's going to be jazzy, and we'll be there in our capacity. Obviously, we've got Brock on board as well now with Brandon, and I was chatting with Billy to see what's next, when we're going to actually see Brock in action at a big race, which should be the DNC, which is actually not that far away either. And I hadn't realised until Billy had said to me, but that's in Thornhill this year as well. So
okay,
good track.
That's why Tebow was there.
Yeah. Sorry, not Thornhill. I'm talking out of my. Oh, let me check that actually. 1 second. You're going to have to pack this while I check.
Can you tell how much we have to say today?
So yes.
Oh, hi.
No, I'm not quite there. Actually, I've got to keep scrolling.
Oh, okay.
The Thornhill link was there's another big race at Thornhill 2 weeks after DNC. Okay. So we were talking about what a good trip that would be, basically, to go and do the DNC and then stay on and do the next race at Thornhill, which was in 2 weeks' time. I think it's Thunder Alley where you were.
Yeah, you're right. Actually,
it's Thunder Alley.
I remember.
Began with a T, and I'm getting old, so that's good enough.
Yeah, you did quite well there.
Although, if anybody's watching this and turned up at Thornhill to do the race that they thought was going to be at Thornhill, it's quite a long way back to Thunder Alley. So.
Yeah, it's a good few days' drive.
We need a disclaimer in there.
Yeah.
John.
I completely forgot what I was going to say now. I was going to say something. Anyway, moving on. Moving
swiftly on. I see that there was another follow-up from RC Jezzer.
Yeah, it's talking about this LCRC Mugen Challenge 3-day race with 483 entries. Now this year, all the races are 3 to 4 days because they get huge turnouts.
Wow.
I'm guessing this is is it indoor? Is it outdoor? I don't know.
I don't think it's indoor. I can remember Billy talking, if it's the same place that it was penned to be at before, I don't think it's indoor, but obviously Mr. RC Jezza is going to let us know in a minute.
Yeah. So we got what else have we got on the agenda for this evening's show?
Well, not a lot really, because there's not a lot going on. What did we have happen in the world of Nemo this week? We had we introduced our promo video, which has had a good reception. I think most people have liked that. A few people have given it a thumbs down, which is also nice as well. just to kind of be a bit of a synopsis of what we do and where we are and all that sort of stuff. So I think that was quite cool. Awesome effort by our man Charlie Locke. Obviously, he races with us and said could he have the opportunity to make something that he thought could be pretty cool for us and what we do and the track and stuff like that. Very, very talented. Obviously, rocked up with the full shebang to film that. I think it came out really well. We've got quite a lot of other footage as well that we can use at other times. And hopefully it's the start of a beginning. We're going to be doing, hopefully, that sort of level production for lots of things when we're back racing. And we're keen, like we've said before, to really try and get some blogs going at Nemo Raceway. And then also when we get covering the bigger races like the Nationals and Montpellier GP and that sort of stuff. And really try and give people that can't come to those races an insight as to what's going on, not just the racing, but the whole element of it, setting it up, the team ambience and all that sort of stuff that is so cool about racing abroad, and hopefully Charlie's going to be a good part of that. So yeah, it was a bit of a preview of what we might have coming up, I guess. Really,
yeah, that'd be awesome. He did a great job, and he's a legend in himself, really, and he's a fast driver.
100% fast driver as well, on board with us with the Gamma stuff as well, which is fantastic. I mean, obviously, when we were doing that filming, you can see it snowed and the wet weather and stuff, and we had to make a decision as to whether we were going to actually just keep going with it and make the best of a bad job almost in a way. And I think in some ways it's actually made it better because, okay, we all know running cars through puddles and stuff is not a massively great thing to do for the longevity of the components, but on camera it clearly looks quite cool to see all the rooster tails coming off and through the puddles and stuff like that. And incidentally, everything that was used in that film is still operational and being used as we're testing other stuff right now as well. So that was quite cool to see. It was probably the first time we've done real proper wet weather testing in terms of, like tires and engine and making sure it doesn't have too much of a drink. And I tell you what was absolutely incredible for me is a standout bit of that. And it's something that's not released yet. And that is the air filter oil that's going to come from RCX. That was just incredible to be running in the rain, a genuine no cuts, no stalls, no nothing in any of that filming. And it was literally a day of doing that. So it's only a minute and a half video, but it took a long time to shoot and absolutely incredible. At the end of it, Mr. Truman took it up to pieces basically to see, what damage we'd done with everything. And there was absolutely no moisture in that engine, just quite incredible. So yeah, big thumbs up and slightly bemused as to the performance of the oil that's coming from RCX. Our man Ant had sent that down, and we've been doing the filters and stuff with it. So yeah, quite an exciting new little product coming there. I think anyone that's raced 8 scale long enough knows at some point you get caught out and you have to run in really crappy weather with puddles and stuff, and the motors absolutely hate it. It kills them. They struggle to finish, don't they? We've been to Euros and things like that where, well, even the last, is it the last Euros? Yeah, it was the last Euros in
yeah, I wasn't there.
Italy. Yeah, you weren't there, but the weather was so extreme that half the finalists weren't finishing because of the puddles and stuff. We needed that air filter. Well, we did all right. We got a third, but with that air filter oil, would have been even better.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it wasn't the Euros, but it's the Euro warm up in Reims, and it rained.
Yeah.
It was real bad. I didn't actually have to go out. I was in the second semi, and they cancelled it after the first one. But there was people running around with a glow stick in the engine and all sorts.
That was me. I had the glow stick on the engine. I'll share these fools. We'll just strap the glow stick to the glow plug so it can't blow out. Yeah. But then the radio failed anyway. The servos just finished. So
I remember that. And then everyone came in. It was like, oh, race over. No, we're not going to run the second one. And I was sat there with a brand new looking car. Perfect.
We weren't sat there with a brand new car anymore.
No. Cy Willits was in the first one. He was not impressed that mine was clean and his was ruined.
Them the brakes sometimes. Them the brakes. You just got to get on with it, and it's racing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So where else were we? So yeah, video. We had the video out. Kits are back into stock as well now, so that's good. We had a few of the pre-order ones that have gone out today, and yeah, they're back into stock. So we're going to update the website probably after this. I'll do that, which is fantastic. They come in and out really quick at the moment, which is fantastic to see as well, especially as we're in lockdown. But yeah, apart from that, it's been fairly quiet. We've had a few prototype bits arrive. We've had 17.5-degree aluminium front caster blocks arrive today as well. So we need to get that onto your car, my car, and give that a buzz around, see what we've got going on.
Not that we can buzz around because it's wet.
No. Well, we can go around the puddles again.
Yeah.
That's something that Mickey Poulsen and Jessica Poulsen have been looking for a while. They really like that 17.5-degree block over and above the 16-degree aluminium one, which we used to do, and then obviously the plastic one, which comes as standard. So that's going to be great to have that as an optional part for people. What else has come in? I think there's a couple of other bits and pieces, but not ones for just yet that we're working through.
Yeah.
What else?
I know. Just drink more. Some rubbish will come out if we drink.
Tumbleweed. Well, I can see, as ever, a very smiley little ginger chap down in the corner. It looks like he's been out dogging again because he looks like he's in his car. So we're going to bring him in a minute, and we can. I don't know how he's going to do a closet feature from his car, but it could be interesting.
A front feature.
We have got a list of questions that have come in from our team guys that we could run through, or we could do that after we've brought Mr. Rumble in and then see what's on the side. What would you like to do? You tell me.
I'm pretty easy, mate, to be honest. I mean, we can bring him in. He definitely packs the show out.
He is a packer. I'm going to bring him in because that means I can escape for a toilet. When you get past 40 viewers, anyone that's watching, something very odd happens and you can't manage to do a couple of hours or even an hour often without needing to go to the toilet. It's disappointing when you try to do a show that lasts longer than an hour. Mr. Rumble, on that note,
on that urinary note, how are we doing, everyone? Afternoon.
Good.
Afternoon.
I'm excited to know whether Lee can hear you.
I can hear him. It's shocking.
It's a dream. Easy.
So we could hear each other last week, and then we put a video up, and it all went wrong.
It went peaked off.
Was that the catalyst?
Yeah.
That was
the only video that I have left that I've not shown anybody is you getting out of the shower earlier on, Leroy, and we're not going to put that up tonight. Because, only for one reason, I think the man from Waitrose is not online because I haven't seen any comments for a few weeks. We seem to have chased him away.
Oh, that's disappointing because he would have definitely blown his load at that.
Good. Whoa. We are 3 minutes past 9.
Mr. Rumble, why are you in your car again? Do you actually live in your car? Do you actually not have a abode anymore?
No, that's it. I'm Mark Rumble of No Fixed Abode. This is my quietest, safest place.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just about safe here. There's a good chance. I mean, I might, sort of get stabbed. But
as long as you don't see Mother streaking in the background, we're all right.
No streaking. Not tonight.
Earlier did say that you might be dogging in your car again.
Andy Beaumont, I saw the comment.
Oh, Rumble Tumbles charging points exposed. A new dogging feature site.
We could do that, actually. We could do like a different charging point per week. That would give another...
Yeah, it's not what's in your closet. It's where's Rumble dogging.
Yeah, where are you?
Dogging?
Yeah.
Where's Rumble?
And we'll rate it out of 10.
It's the Monday night doggers are us.
So I'm sure I can rely on you two to pack this out while I go off to the toilet.
I know. Well,
I'm going.
Enjoy the loo. Leroy, how was your weekend?
Yeah, as I expressed to John earlier, the most bored I've been since I was probably about 1.
Yeah, since time began.
Yeah, and it was not that great because it was raining and crap. What about yours?
Normal dramas, really. All okay. Yeah, nothing too interesting to report, or nothing that anyone will care about to report to me. But, I'm actually just currently being cooked alive in the car, so I can feel my temperature rising.
You have like heating adjustments and stuff.
Yeah, I have actually just turned it down in the hope that I might not cook. However, Are
you out at a charger, or have you literally gone in the car from the house?
No, I am actually in the car for my own safety. This is my safe place.
Was there a bit of preheating going on then?
That's what it is. Yeah.
I'm back from my safe place.
Oh, good Lord. Nothing to report. Nothing too exciting. I think obviously we've had quite a busy time. for Nemo, considering there's nothing to do, nothing, but somehow so much. It's been unbelievable, really, really unbelievable.
A big part of that has obviously been the update to our system.
Yes,
our guys that are with us will know this, but we've had to do a fairly large change to the back end of our system to make it work properly with all of the EU stuff. Now we've left the EU. So that's taken quite a bit of time, and that's working well, working with discount codes now, which is good. Anyone got any dramas with that? Don't talk to Leroy, don't talk to me. You need to stalk Mr. Rumble. He's there.
Send me an email and we'll make it happen. Yeah, no, so that was good, because obviously I'm sure there are many people out here that manage their own websites and do stuff like that, but trying to get all of these systems to work in harmony is just it's a forever chasing game.
Summarize it in 10 words.
10.
Yes.
Running a good website is very, very, very tough.
Bitches.
Yeah.
I was gonna say bitches, but I thought.
Are you listening, Mr. Bridge? Because I'm sure you'll be having some negative comment about us or somewhere along the line. Not all a bed of roses.
No. Yeah, no. It's it's nice that people think it's smooth for us. I guess it's good to give that out. But
I think the analogy's a swan, isn't it? That looks like just cruising around. And
but underneath paddling like mad. Yeah.
Paddling like mad.
Yeah.
Ow.
The Brexit stuff's been challenging with shipping. I think we've been really, really fortunate with our shipper. We obviously use DHL International for all of our shipments and our domestic shipments or UK shipments. Talking DHL talk like a cool kid. Oh, that's worrying. And we're really, really lucky with DHL, because I know there have been a plethora of dramas for almost all other couriers with incorrect export coding and product codes and categorizing and imports and fees and taxation and horrible stuff.
I would say I would summarize it by the extra quid or two that DHL cost in our cost, and then obviously it's passed on to some degree to everybody else. Has been well worth the.
You get what you pay for.
The world of hurt that's going on elsewhere, because I keep seeing all this trade stuff come through that we get from the couriers, and it is an absolute minefield of awfulness out there right now if you're trying to send parcels abroad.
For want of a better word, it is a nightmare.
It is. I've got a very big news item, actually. Just moving on from DHL and stuff, and that's I booked my hair transplant earlier on.
No way.
Is it the same place Talbot booked his?
Yeah, well, we're hair transplant brothers. We've got to go to the same place. So when we both have hairdos that look like pubic hair, we can at least have solace in the fact we can share the pain.
Share it together, brothers.
Yeah. Sharing is caring. Exactly that.
Wow. That is really good news, John.
So I'd like to say the next time you see me, I'd have lots of hair, but obviously we can't travel right now, and it's a work in progress kind of thing. So I
was going to say,
if I look agitated at Easter, it's probably because I'm trying to harvest about 5,000 grafts in my head.
Yes, your head's actually on fire.
Yeah,
exactly. I heard it hurts.
I did.
Just saying.
I heard it hurts as well, but that's okay.
It scabs over, and
I can scream with the best of them. It'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
So,
it's worth it.
We definitely discussed this a little bit in our group the other day, and I cannot imagine you with hair.
No, it's been a long time since I can imagine me with hair either. It's been a long time.
Are you just going to have it and still shave it to a number one?
No, I'm going to go like Samuel Lenzi from the 90s. I'm going to have it down to my
slicked back.
I'm going to use you as my stylist. I think you've always got pretty good hair, Leroy, apart from when you take a cap off. It's got to grow first, doesn't it? Let's see what we
It'll
be a live experiment.
It'll be funny when it grows out, sort of like new hair follicles in afro or something, and you'll have to like cornrow it or something.
All curly. So it's going going to be an interesting. We can review these videos in a year's time and look at a before and after.
We'll do a before and after. Another a year of.
To be fair, they'd have probably all fallen out again through the stress of RC racing. So.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just about to say I'll probably look about 15 years older.
Well, I'll have new ones, but then all of these last little ones that are hanging on will have gone. So
you'll have a big fringe.
There'll just be no change. It'll be like Homer when he shaves. He kind of shaves, and then about 10 seconds later, the beard just comes back.
But at least if you have the front ones, you can do a proper comb over.
Yeah,
that would be good.
I have seen that. I have seen that in the RC world a few times. So it clearly happens.
I've seen comb overs that I would not want to see in the RC world. To be fair,
John,
you look like you could
the one at
knit
EOS?
them into your back hair.
You what, Paddy said?
Can you remember the one at EOS?
John is out at this
moment. This is a Gladbrook moment. This is...
So, no comment.
Yeah, exactly.
Next question.
Yeah.
But
So,
Rumble. Yes.
I was going to say a closet feature.
So there is
Rumble. So what is in your car closet?
There's absolutely nothing really I can offer. I literally, as I was driving, I was listening to it on the Bluetooth whilst I was driving, and
the Bluetooth. You mean you had your phone in front of you, which we
no, certain, because that's illegal, and that wouldn't catch me doing that, and even with me autopilot. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought, right, what do I find in my car which I try to keep reasonably tut free, and I have so little.
Login site, no.
No, I know. Well, the only things, however, that I could show you are absolutely not PG, or even they're like unclassified. So it's funny actually. Obviously, in the fruit, whatever. I do have a pair of gloves. So I have a pair of skiing gloves. So I have a skiing holiday booked, which has obviously just been cancelled, obviously, for about a week's time. So
right, you did
that's
realise that we are an RC channel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
So the only thing from your skiing holiday, which I know you were going on, that should be allowed, have you got your crash helmet that you bought in your car?
No. However, I thought about it. I thought, right, there must be something. But it goes on to an interesting point about shipping. Interesting. Just about. Is that these gloves arrived. So some like nice Hestra ski gloves. I thought, that would be nice as a present from my sister for Christmas. Thank you, Amy. Hashtag do it for Nigel before either. Yes. And they arrived.
Are you still on the scene and still doing your sister?
Yep. Oh yeah, they are. They're engaged.
That's it.
Amy is a Lucas to be, or
wow.
Lucas to be, Nigel Lucas, like the Jedi.
Nice.
And no, so she got me these gloves for Christmas. Really, really pleased. Lovely pair of gloves. A little bit too big. So I thought, oh well, I don't even need them anyway, so I'll return them. So obviously, returns label in the box with UPS. So big error. So obviously, I didn't return. This was mid-January or whenever, when I thought, I'll actually just get around to. Oh my goodness, the car just went into comfort access and nearly crushed me in between the steering wheel and the seat. Just nearly died.
Live TV is never a good idea.
So packed up the gloves, got the UPS return label. Thought, right, I'll get that on the package. You go to a UPS drop-off point, or a UPS partner point, of which there aren't that many. So that's the first thing. There aren't that many. So I traversed a long,
like you would down the slope if you were going.
Yeah, precisely. So. Went to the first one. They said, no, sorry, we're not accepting any parcels. I was like, okay, understandable. I get it. Went to the next one. They were just straight up closed, just not even in existence. And then the third place I went to was just like a corner shop. And I said to the lady, I said, "Oh, are you taking UPS returns?" She said, "Oh yeah, of course." So I gave her the UPS. I gave her the parcel, and she said, "Oh no, I need three invoices for this." She said, "Because we're not in Brexit anymore."
Good Lord.
And I just thought, I think this might be a representative of people's general understanding about how the European Union Brexit was. We are not in Brexit anymore. I thought, we are not in Britain exit European Union any longer. All it transpired is I literally was just walked out there with my gloves. So my gloves are living in the fruit for probably indefinitely now. I think they're probably mine.
Just use them. You've always got cold hands, so you could use them.
I know.
Because
they're just too big.
You could have used them on the video that we did.
I know.
About how cold you were, and possibly it's the coldest you'd ever been in your life, and you couldn't feel your hands anymore. You could have had your ski.
It's true. I think I need to invest in a pair of heated gloves.
You need a pair of heated gloves. Shall I try and throw in a picture of Rumble in his ski hat, because it's definitely worth seeing, and I do have one. So
it's a look.
Right. It probably means we're going to lose audio afterwards, and then spend
Sorry, Lee.
Which will pack out our cast, which is also handy. So I'm going to try.
Oh, Lee's taken the cap off. That has also packed out the show. Whoa, you've got an emo teenager.
It's so not greasy, everyone. It's wet. It's not greasy. It's wet.
Yeah, I'm not a rotter. I'm just little Nicky.
That's what the girls used to say, isn't it, when they were like 16? It's just wet.
It's just wet.
Talking about.
Oh, Rumble, look at you.
Are you on screen in your lovely helmet?
Yes.
I am. That is a look. The only reason why I can see this, because I can't see it on our interface. I can see it because I am still watching on the tablet in the old Model 3.
It looks better with a face mask, doesn't it?
Well, I reckon that should be his like refueling rig. I think he should just go Formula One on the crowd, and when we come in for fuel, I want to see you wearing that when you're fueling Leroy for a win.
So obviously in the promo video, in the promo video, you can already see that I can barely get a fuel gun into a fuel tank anyway, let alone with some impaired vision, more than my Joe 90s. There's no way. There's no way.
You can get prescription.
And our competition would be laughing at us so much they'd probably forget to fuel their drivers.
Also true. That is true.
We've got to go Trojan horse on the crowd sometimes.
Other alternatives.
George will be there going, "Look at that ball, and run out of fuel."
Yeah. I think there's a pretty good chance of that. To be fair.
Only joking.
So was that your closet feature?
Yeah, I think that's it. Obviously, I can actually get out the car and show you my UPS package, but I don't think you actually care.
Let's do some questions. Is that some sort of code? Because I'm not a cool kid anymore. I don't think I ever was. Show me show you your UPS package.
Maybe. Depends what you're delivering.
So I'm gonna do the first question, and then we can rock off to the side, and Leroy can see all of those ones because I'm not so good at seeing those. So the first question I had from our guys was, question for tonight: can we have an overview of droop settings? And we're talking about droop on the car, not droop in your pants.
I can only help with pants droop.
Who was that squeak? Where did that squeak come from?
It's my dog. It's in the kitchen squeaking. Oh, I might be Rumble though. I think someone opened something over there.
Yes, he has the lights on.
Yeah.
Roger's just got. He's got
it's one of my members. Members of the.
He's in
of the DC.
Yeah.
So Drew, take it away, Rumble.
Leroy, no, we need a
dangerous
answer. This is
dangerous. That is a dangerous thing, Lee.
Can't believe you did that.
So droop, more droop, better in bumps, better on jumps. Less droop.
You know it.
Less droop. It's not going to transfer as much weight. It's a hard one, droop. It really is, because it's really track dependent. I think a lot of people find something they're happy with, especially in the rear. I always like to try and run a lot of droop in the rear end, and then adjust the front to suit.
There we go.
Because if you have too much droop in the front, the car unloads too much to the rear, and that's when the rear can get a bit sketchy, I find. But if you don't have enough droop in the front, it doesn't jump or go over bumps as good. So I find there's a fine margin, especially at our track. I find if you run more on our car than I think it was like 101, it gets a bit sketchy on the rear. So the front droop has a lot of impact on the rear.
I would completely agree with that.
And if you're doing anything with John Hazelwood's car, do not put droop on it, or you'll get a bollocking after the run.
We're getting a bit of droop in the front of it.
There is more droop than ever before. I think it's as I've got older. I think it comes with the
age.
I think it's once you start finding happier setups with other things. I think if you take too much droop off, you're compensating for something else. And I think you get scared and go, it's a bit weird to drive, take front droop off.
Yeah, I would agree. The other thing with droop as well is if you are aggressive, like myself on driving, I'm not aggressive elsewhere, I don't think. It can just let you have lots of weight transfer, and that's why I like having as minimal droop as possible, because it just stops the car being able to do that whole seesaw effect where you're a lunatic on the throttle, where Leroy feeds it in gently, so I've been told, and you don't see those traits that a monkey like me can introduce. That's what I see. Front droop for me is the critical one for that. It definitely controls the pitch of the car.
Yeah, exactly.
And on our car, I think it's like you said, Leroy, it's quite critical, isn't it? A mil or 2 mil can really change how the rear of the car feels.
Yeah.
It's one of those cases where you work on the front to make the rear feel better.
Exactly. And always think of it like that, because if you take droop off the rear, for example, when you get on the brakes, it's not going to throw so much weight over the front. Whereas if you have a lot of droop in the rear and you get on the brakes, it's going to dump quite a lot of weight onto the front. So always think about how it affects the opposite end to what you're doing.
And I do think, to summarize it for me, it's a massively big setup change that takes 2 seconds to go to a track and just feel what you like. It's something you can rock into your pit man in his nice ski helmet and say, take me off half a turn of droop, go back out again, and you will, either way, whether you like it or you don't like it, you will absolutely feel that difference straight away. So it's definitely an overlooked tuning aid, and it's something as well, even like if you're rocking up for the start of your final and you feel like there's something not quite right with your car, if you've understood what droop can do, that's one of the few changes that you can make quickly with your pitman and hopefully, fix whatever you've not liked in your warm-up lap.
Yeah. Droop, ride eye, easy fixes.
Yeah.
I think also, it's so, the thing I see as a non-driver is that if there are those changes that you can make instantly without having to switch the car off, go back to the pits and do anything, that sort of just instant lap by lap analysis with a good analytical driver like Lee and like yourself, John, is absolutely invaluable, because you can see it. You don't have to let the engine warm up again, or this happens, or the track gets a bit cooler because you spent 15 minutes rebuilding the shocks or whatever. You can just see it lap by lap, and that is so critical.
Do you mean that shouting down and saying the front diff that you've just rebuilt with the oil that I asked for that's now not right doesn't work is not helpful just before you start a final?
Yes. Because if you can't do anything about it,
you ain't going to be changing that.
Ain't going to be changing that, me old mucker.
Just run it in really, really hard.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
However,
Next one. Can we also differentiate between shock length and droop screw to adjust the droop?
Not in 8 scale, I don't think as much.
No.
Because I think, interestingly, there was a little thing, and I'd be interested to know between Lee and John, your experience with it is whenever I've seen people, I think the whole purpose of why 10th scale doesn't use droop screws, or maybe some techno uses them or something, but 8 scale do, is that if you do run the shock at full extension and you don't limit it with droop screws, it just makes your shocks much more susceptible to bent shock shafts. Is that sort of some of the purpose? Is it consistency, or I thought there was something about durability with droop screws.
Are we talking 8 scale?
8 scale. That was why 8 scale has droop screws, or one of them.
One of the big things. I'm not sure it would be that effective anymore. But like when I used to run the RC8 and stuff. If you didn't have it on the droop screw, it would literally pull the cap off the shock.
That would be my take of it as well. It's just for a durability.
Yeah.
And that's
if
when
you think about that makes sense.
To be fair, that's like when we were playing with running plastic caps and stuff rather than alley ones. And the way we used to set our droop back then, because we wanted max droop, is we'd take the shock off the top and then just screw the droop screw in enough that it saved the shock.
Just
to slide on and off without being at strain.
Yeah.
But I know whoever probably asked is probably on about 10th scale more than 8th scale because we have different length shock ends. And it's more to do with where the piston sits in the body and the up travel that it has. For example, say we're looking at the front of a four-wheel drive and we want maximum droop. If we just unscrewed our shock bottom like all the way we could, you've actually got a lot more shaft that goes into the shock. So your piston hits the top before you've hit full compression. Hence why we have different shock ends. So you can have the same amount of shaft that goes into the shock, but you've got a longer shock end. So a longer shock in theory.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, you can play with like where the piston sits in the body, but I think for most people, it's not going to make much difference.
No, I think we're down to the pro
We're
drive.
deep. We are deep.
We are in deep
in the bosom.
You could say like in 8 scale, if you do, because some shock, like a Mugen shock, for example, the piston sits very close to the top of the body. So if you actually unwound it to get more droop, it would probably burst the bladder if you use it
out the top.
Yeah.
I think we're lucky with that. We're in the right place with our shocks for that. Next question. Well, the next question is probably one that we'll do another time, as we've been rambling on about an hour already, which was the history of Nemo and why we have a UK and a USA branch. I think we'll jog that one on to. It's a good question, one that we'll cover in another episode where we're trying to pack out.
To be fair, that's probably its own video on YouTube, the history of Nemo Racing.
It probably is.
Agreed.
That would definitely be a good one to do because it's 10 years. We've passed our 10-year anniversary as Nemo Racing as well, so that would be cool to do that one. Bit of a synopsis as well.
Funny, talking of just a little quickie there, was that I was doing some Facebook Messenger test, and I sent a message on my own personal Facebook page through to the Nemo page, and it had one of mine and John's first interactions, like start of 2016.
I saw it.
And I said something like,
any of that?
Yeah, it was about Paddy Piston. It was about that race, the first race I came and didn't drive and just was helping out, and the beginning of where we are now. And it said something like, "Oh, I've spoken to my mum," or I can't remember, but it's like
it said like
about school exams.
Yeah, school exams. Yeah. I've got time off or something.
I've got time off, and it was a thing at the time because mum who. John knows my mum very well and knows that.
Can you say
she wants.
That sounds wrong.
Yeah, no. When I say she knows very well, known for a minute or three.
When you say very well, do you mean like Leroy getting out of the shower well, or do you mean...
No, not yet. I don't think.
That's what you.
But it was funny because that was a time where obviously exams were pretty critical. So me then going for 5 days off to Paddy Piston was like she said, exams are important, but equally this is clearly an opportunity for you. So
that's cool. Where did you post that? I haven't seen that.
It just in the Nemo business page.
Okay.
Just in the messenger.
Because we were talking earlier about our messaging, weren't we? And Mark tested with himself.
And
I saw it pop up and I was reading.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's quite cool. Yeah, I remember.
And I said, it was like, "Do you want me to send you a message to sales at Nemo Racing?" And you were like, "Oh no, it's fine. Send it to like John at John at blah blah blah." And it was funny. And just looked at the date of it, like 2016. I thought, goodness, and here we are.
Here we are.
I was only a baby.
Time flies. You still are.
I
know you have the persona of a 40.
I know.
You're
old before the time.
You still are
definitely the oldest one in the group, and that includes Phil.
Yes, exactly. Phil's a dark horse. I like Phil a lot.
I like it a lot.
Yes, you need me a lot. No, right, okay. So
I've seen about the on-road podcasters just put a message up. The Droop info is immense. Please do more of this type of info. I'm sure Lee will do a tune it.
100%.
A tune it.
I had a
tomorrow.
Yes, it was meant to be today but we didn't do our thing today. But I had an an interaction with JQ about my tune it post.
I knew you would.
Wow. I didn't bring it on. He asked me.
Without a doubt.
Because
to question your knowledge, or
yes, basically
without a doubt.
To question my why my theory was like it versus probably what the practicality of it is in I don't know, RC CAD or whatever.
What his book says.
Maybe. And for anyone that is currently still watching, my information I give is purely based on my knowledge of it and how it feels on the track.
That there is so important. And I think if you're a narcissist, you probably can't work out somebody may have a different version of life other than what you think. And setup is so important to how you drive. It is so important to how you drive or how your driver drives. And that's why all these setup things, I think they're good. I think they're great. It's awesome that people want to take the time to do them. And I'm sure I haven't looked at JQ's because I just wouldn't. But I'm sure it's awesome. But it's his opinion. And his opinion is based on how he drives. Perhaps that's different to how other people may drive. So, yeah, it's interesting.
I like the theories behind it because, JQ does look at it scientifically. But how many times have we seen that real motorsport stuff does not translate to our stuff?
That's it.
Well, every time, because otherwise the F1 teams wouldn't spend their millions and millions and millions doing what they think is right to end up in a, like a rabbit hole like Williams, for example. They've won world championships. They understand the theory. They understand it. And yet still they can end up somewhere where their theory didn't work out whatsoever. Are they stupid? No, they're not stupid because they've won so many world championships. It's just you have to keep moving, keep changing, work with the people that you have. There's so many elements that go into it. And personally for me, that's why I'm not a massive fan of you must digest this because this is the only way that it can be. It's just an opinion. And you said that perfectly at the start, which is this is what I find when I race my cars.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to go and try it themselves, really, and work it out.
Exactly.
Get your own experience.
Yeah, get to the track, put the time in, try those changes and see what they feel to you. Because even like with Delhi, you've worked with Delhi, Leroy, and done well with him, and I did the same as well. I had my best results with him, and at the time X-Ray were doing their first manual of how to set up RC cars and stuff, which was done by Jon, and yet still you'll find people that will say that's absolutely wrong. What's in that? It didn't work, but obviously it's based off what he found while he was running with me. Yeah,
and if you take like real motorsport, if you look at caster on a go-kart, I remember Ant talking to me about this. Caster works completely opposite on a go-kart as it does on our RC cars because they wind caster on to get more initial steering because what it does is it unloads one of the back wheels.
Yep, because it's a fixed
rotation.
Thinking about the front, yeah, and it's like, so I actually did a training day years and years ago with a kart team. They were this RC I'm talking about, Strawberry Racing kart team, and they were trying to get their head around why they were trying to put caster on the car to get steering, but we couldn't massively understand why it was different for karting. But then Ant summed it up, the fact that you're trying to unload the rear wheel.
And you unload that wheel because it's that locked rear axle. So that would be the same. If you had a very stiff rear diff in our car, it would be a similar scenario to that. And that's just get to the track, learn all these things, understand all these things, get to a track and try it yourself, see what you find.
And the proof is in the pudding, isn't it?
The proof is in the pudding. How many championships have you won?
This is it. This is exactly where I don't wish to bash anyone on their results or lack of results.
No.
But I've got my opinion, which is based on absolutely nothing, apart from what I've learned, around me in my experiences. And it's, as well as having your own experience, it's who you learn from, who you learn with. Like everything I've ever learned about engine tuning, has obviously all come from yourself, John. And it's about that experience. Lean it until it stops. It's about your wider experience, and I think being humble about that, because
it is.
That is not something that our man in question at the start of this has got in his tool set. And he's got lots of tools, because I respect what he's done. It's hard to bring things to market and all that sort of stuff, but being humble is not one of them. So let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, and the On-Road podcast, he makes a good point. Knowledge is huge, though. Going to the track, throwing random stuff at the wall is pointless. So this is what it's all about. The Tune It things are taking a little bit of that knowledge, just giving you pushes in the right direction, and then it's up to you to decide if you like it or not, if it worked for you.
Definitely so. And you're going to be doing those, or we're going to be doing those each week. Normally on a Monday, which is going to be fantastic, I think. At the end of it, we'll have our own little Bible.
Little Bible. At the end of the year or 6 months or whatever you want, just print it off as a JPEG and stick it in a folder, and then print the next one off and stick it in a folder, and then you can make your own decision if I'm talking out my ass.
And when you've done that, you get a free evening with Rumble in his car at a charger somewhere near Essex.
Well, you better get these. You better get these. You better get some more episodes up, Lee. Otherwise, I'm going to have people really queuing up. More than I can.
What else did I have? Next development for the 319 platform. I think certainly for the foreseeable future, we're very happy with our platform. We possibly are going to have a team kit, which will have some bits and pieces in that we're looking at now. But in terms of development of different geometry and stuff like that, there's nothing coming for this year. We're super happy with what we've got, and so we're going to move forward with that for 2021.
Yep.
When will the new front hubs be due? Very soon. So earlier on, we said, I said that they'd arrived today, which they have. So we're going to test those, make sure there's nothing that's weird with them, which there won't be, and then they'll be into production. So I would think probably about 4 weeks from now, the new front alley.
Are they? I haven't seen them yet. Are they any different from our previous alley ones, or are they just same?
So a confession, I only know they've arrived because our man has told us they've arrived, and the boxes came to me, but I was in London today, so I actually haven't seen them myself. So when we're there together tomorrow, we'll
find out.
We will dissect it, but they are there and ready to rumble.
New parts day is always an exciting day.
New parts day on a Tuesday. Exactly. What more could you want?
Yeah.
Next one.
So the next one was: do you always glue the foams to the wheels, or only on certain conditions or certain tires? I think I can't remember who that was from. But
Asia, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably let's go with that. Is that a 10th scale thing you do, or an 8th scale thing?
No, it's more of an 8th scale thing. But I mean, we do it in 10th scale, but obviously for me not so much, because I never race on dirt. No,
and I think ordinarily we don't do it. It's only if the track is very, very fast. In my experience, then you want to try and control the foam as well as the tire, and maybe sometimes when the tracks are very, very fast, like Montpellier, for example, you want to try and control that foam from ballooning so much, which then balloons the tire, which then means it's not touching the surface as you would want. So you look at gluing the foam. But I would say for 99% of the people, that isn't something that is generally done. That's my take on it.
We haven't ever done it with Beta, I don't believe, or never in my time with Beta.
Darren did once or twice, but very rarely.
Yeah, I guess pretty good product. That would do it.
It's another half an hour. It's only another P.
Yeah, pretty much the same. I'd only do it really if I'm running like a very soft tire that I don't want massively ballooning, or I'm at a fast track with high speed corners. Because you don't, when you're cornering at massively high speed, you don't want the foam to be moving around the tire and then the car gets a bit of a wobble on. But like John said, 95% of the people out there are not gonna feel the difference and not need a glued foam to the wheel. So just keep ordering pre-glueds and be happy. Basically,
it's a faff. It is definitely a faff.
Yeah. Phil Truman said they are the same as the old hub, so same but 17.5.
Cool.
Which
That's good.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The obviously previously we've had the 13, 16, and 19 degree alley caster blocks, and they were good as gold. Really good wear rate. Absolutely fine. Same. I believe maybe 1 degree more steering lock than the plastic pieces, but just a fit and forget item in terms of durability. They'll go from cars to car.
Yeah. Any other questions before we wrap up for the evening, Johnny?
You've probably got something on the side. I'm done on my questions. We've probably got something from the side. And also, I wanted to just cover the Treggy tyres from Six Mix as well, but I just need to bring that up to make sure I don't get that wrong. Rumble will probably get it right.
One thing said, is someone called Leroy in here too? So Leroy, I think Leroy... Watcher is called Leroy. I understand the reference now. Was it just he didn't actually have a clue? Lee is affectionately known as Leroy.
There we go.
Yeah. But there is also a Leroy.
There's a legit Leroy.
Yeah. An actual.
You're a legit Leroy.
Yeah. I'm a legit Leroy.
Say that fast.
Yes.
Quaker on there says, I know messing up a whip into a turn can absolutely destroy the front suspension assembly of a car. What's the most low-risk way to practice this? Don't do it into a turn. Try and find a nice straight jump and, just practice whips. That's how I learn.
Yeah, and with an 8 scale as well. I think an 8 scale car can take a bit of a spanking.
Take a bit
of a love tap.
Stick the soft front arms on, the kit front arms. And,
yes.
And you won't break a front arm, you'll be all right. But just practice in a straight line. I mean, I learned to whip because when I was younger, learning my craft in temp scale, we didn't have many jumps. And temp scale cars were not the best to whip with carpet Astro tires because the tire doesn't really move. But I actually learned at my own track. We had a double and I just messed about with it. It was nice and straight. So when you landed, you weren't trying to turn and snap stuff. So find a nice straight jump and have a play.
I think that's the biggest thing I've seen between sort of 10th scale and 8 scale drivers is I think that 8 scale drivers can often bring a lot of their talent and apply it to 10th scale, but I think the other way around it's very difficult. I'm always immensely impressed with how the Tommy Hall and Jamie Hall drive, in fact, because they can apply their 10th scale to 8 scale.
I'm no, I don't believe you.
I'm happy. To be fair, I'm happy to meet some resistance because I have absolutely zero experience with it, apart from just what.
Think, apart from a few, temp scale drivers are the best.
I'm going to go in the middle. No, I'm not going to go in the middle. I think the best 10th scale drivers in the world are best at everything. I think the middle ground of 10th scale, when they come to 8th scale, they never amount to something, although they could have been something in 10th scale. That's what I see.
I don't know, though, because most people that come from 10th to 8th can get around track. If you take an 8th scale driver to 10th scale, it can be a struggle.
Yeah, but for me, I'd reach to like Richard Cree, for example. That would be a perfect one for me, where I definitely think he was better. He should have been really good in 8 scale, but somehow kind of didn't make it. Paul Bradbury as well. He was really good in 10th scale that somehow didn't make it. I don't know. There's quite a few.
They were not elite in 10th scale.
But they could make a good A final and be somewhere near the front. And in 8
sometimes.
They were just, like picking up my car when it fell over, to be fair.
On the other hand, there's
and they hadn't been out the night before and got completely smacked.
That was their problem.
That was their problem. But I think now it's changed. I think it's definitely changed now. I think they handle a bit more like temp scales now than they ever did.
I'm going to make a correction. I'm going to take the Hall brothers out of it because they're an exception. You, Darren, and Craig they're an exception to the rule. They make what Rumble and I are saying completely irrelevant, and we look stupid.
For sure.
Everybody else,
Hold on.
a good 8-scale
Mayfield,
driver.
Cavalieri, Tebow.
Yeah, but they're in another country, so they don't count.
Yeah,
They do them
we're
all. They do
talking
them
about
all.
we are
Yeah,
in
they
the
do- they
UK
do them
here. I'm going to make some
In the UK.
technicalities
Yeah,
that
exactly.
refute what you're trying to say here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're
If we
making
move
the
to
rules up.
America, it's different.
Nah,
Yeah, I mean,
America.
a good driver is a good driver at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think
A
it
good
used to.
driver's a good driver.
I think
Yeah.
10th scale used to breed better drivers than what it does now, because back in the day we never had these indoor carpet tracks, and we'd be going outside and throttle control was key, whereas now they're just throttle jackers. I think it's definitely changed, and there is a few exceptions, as we know. But I think back in the day, it produced some very, very good drivers, like Drescher and stuff, for example.
Yeah,
and he was shit in 8-scale. To be fair, Dresch, I love you if you're watching this, which you're probably not because you're busy, having a suntan or something on Associated's expense. But apart from that, you kind of never cut it in 8-scale.
Yeah.
But everything in everything else, and that's my point. That is my point.
He was. I mean, he TQ'd a few nationals in that.
Smash it.
Yeah.
Hero.
I tell you what, the actual 8-scale thing that I think is for sure is that you can. I think this might. I hope it shouldn't upset anyone. But
I've worked it out before you give that one. I've worked out it's only because they couldn't tune an engine. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, they just stopped. They were in front of all of us for 3 minutes.
I
we
think
still can't tune an engine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's the other side to it, or the other side to running a class is obviously your own driving talent as well. But I think to run an 8-scale car at the top end is much more challenging than a 10th scale car, because I think a 10th scale car, I can put my hobby wing settings exactly the same, or my Scorpion settings, or my whatever settings exactly the same as Mr. Qualo or Mr. Martin or whoever.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, there is no chance I'm putting a Hazelwood tune on my engine, because it's not possible. No. I can't do it, or I don't have the hand for it, or at least I would do for about 15 seconds until it would.
I reckon somewhere between all of that, there's probably the truth in that. But Leroy summed it up: if you can drive a car well, you can drive a car well.
If you can drive, you can drive.
If you can drive, you can
rest
drive.
of it to go with it. And I think 8-scale is hard for that. It is, and that's the bit that I love the most. It is definitely a team sport. You can be the best driver in the world, but if you haven't got someone to help you tune your car or set your engine up or whatever else, you're probably not going to win, because there'll be somebody else that has all of those skills in their toolbox, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, Phil, get the best out of your product, because there is so many more variables in 8-scale. In 10th scale, the track's very similar run by run. 8-scale, it always changes. Tires, there's so many tires to try and get
that's a
the right
big
page. And
big time. And then an hour, when you're trying to win the big races, an hour racing these things, that's hard work.
I see that a lot with the 10th scale guys. They're doing a 20-minute, their first 20-minute final or something, and they're like, oh my god, my legs, I'm absolutely ruined. Like, Christ, try a 45-minute final. Drivers come down, ready for a beer.
I remember my first hour-long final was the Neo buggy.
Oh yeah, okay.
We had the M11 Sanwa back then, so
weighed 6 kilos,
and I'm holding it in one hand for an hour. And back then, I didn't appreciate / realize that when you're coming for fuel, you can have a stretch out and stuff. So I was locked in for an hour, and then I got off and I was like, just
I bet you walked into this like that, didn't you? It's like, hi.
Like Guinness, please.
Yeah,
just put it in there. Put it in my claw.
Phil Truman made a good point as well. 8 scale needs a good pit man. 10th scale, you do not. That is for sure. It is a, like as John says, as well as having your own team. It's a 2-man sport, isn't it? Because pit stop can make or break a final. You can pick up a position or lose a position if your driver gets it wrong, or you see it where the mechanic and driver communication is on point or not, and you see people say, oh, just lean the top end or do something, an 8th on the top end, and there's a pit man that does an 8th on the top end, or there's someone that winds on a half, and you think, Well, okay. Well, we don't have to worry about that position because they're going to stop.
Yeah.
But we'll roll with that. It could be it could be worse. You could have Digger and you could say lean my engine and he'll richen it up a turn.
It's funny when I go
the
club racing. If I've drafted someone in who I don't know, and if I need to do into my engine, I'll bring it into someone in the pits that I do know and just stop it in front of them, hoping they'll pick it up, and then I can shout at them.
Yeah, just be like,
that's such
sorry.
a dick. That isn't it? It's like you might as well just go in and thanks for pitting for me.
I did it to our mate Charlie. Charlie was pitting for me at the last hearts we could do before lockdown. Obviously, I've just met him that morning. And then I'd bring it in, and if I wanted like the engine tuned, I'd bring it into Mark Jones.
Yeah.
He'd look at me like, "What are you doing, dickhead?"
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, "Sorry, Charlie, but lean the top."
Exactly. Let's throw it out to the side, Leroy. Any questions before we wrap up our show?
Just
I've got one you can answer, John, while I'm looking for the next one. What is the Bullet 218 engine like?
Very good.
Very good.
We started with that engine, so really good engine, strong base, easy to tune and easy to get parts for as well.
Matthew Bentley said, "Can we get Ryan Mayfield on here too?"
That's down to you, Leroy. You're the man with the connections.
I'm sure I could arrange that. So you've done that one.
Warburton made it. Warburton's a good because I think Darren is an absolute is superb for testing because he's so analytical with it. He's like the best I've ever seen. He goes out, makes one change, brings it back, charts it, makes it, really good. So he said to find the perfect setup, drivers should follow the FOFO method with setup. I don't know what FOFO means. 100% agree with you. Best way is to play and learn and find out what works for you personally. I'd like Darren to know if anyone here knows what FOFO means. I don't know what FOFO means. I can guess.
Sure
but he'll let us know. But if it's come out of Darren, it's definitely a good one to tell to all.
Would a Bullet 218 be suited in the A215?
Perfect.
Yep, perfect.
And I swear there was one other one I saw, but Ivan Bingham says, "Will the 16-degree caster blocks be good on his 215T?"
Possibly, although on a truck you normally want to have, in my opinion, less caster so that you get the initial turn and then you kind of the whole rotate around the corner, point it, and then go. So we used to actually run the trucks with 10-degree caster, so the minimum caster that we ever did, which worked quite well. But it is, as ever, track dependent. Paddy piston, I would have said a standard block on, so the standard 215T block would be about right around that track. I haven't driven it with a truck.
The stock 12-degree plastic caster block.
12 degrees. Yeah, exactly. Just go with that. That's fine.
So
I think the good thing about the truck is, the truck out the box is given a 12-degree caster block for a reason. It was.
It works well.
Yeah.
So Darren Warburton's F off and find out.
Yes. Exactly.
There we go. I knew it'd be a bit of gold.
So on that bombshell.
Yeah.
Are we there? Are we done?
We dragged this out to be one of the longest shows.
Thanks in large to two things. Our
Rumble,
lovely audience that are giving us some questions to answer, and Mr. Rumble that's definitely packs out those questions.
He's definitely a packer.
He's a packer.
Don't put fudge.
No.
But we will all chat tomorrow, and we'll think of some amazing things to be on the show next week.
And again, loads of updates coming. Lots of stuff, loads and loads of things in the pipeline. My brain sort of freezes a little bit when I do a few of these. I'm so what people are writing here. Lots of good stuff coming. Yeah.
Some big news coming on motors at some point as well, which is exciting, and lots of stuff to stay tuned in for. So, Leroy, this is your send it away.
Send it away. So thanks everyone for watching. Please go over to our channel and subscribe. Please visit our webpage. It's NemoRacing.com if you haven't seen it already. It's got a cool video at the start which you'll probably want to watch. remember, we have a special deal for 2021, basically, whereas if you buy a kit from Nemo Racing, you get the track free for 1 whole year. That's basically £575 worth of free track time, because you can come any day unless we have a race on and practice to your heart's content. When you do purchase the kit, we're going to try and get you a nice little membership card, aren't we? We're going to try and sort that out.
Yeah.
So you get a cool little membership card, and then you can just come and flash it at us, and you can go on track.
And the card.
So, there we go. That's all
And the
done.
card. And how the hell did we miss that one, Leroy? We've done a whole hour and a half without mentioning what is a bloody good offer, to be fair.
I just hope people are watching so they can realise this offer and then maybe go take themselves up on it. I know people are going to wait till we're out of lockdown, but the 12-month membership does start from when lockdown ends.
It does.
You may as well have your kit built ready. And then as soon as you come to the track, we will help you get everything set up, make sure the car's good. Literally, myself or John or Rumble or Phil will look over the car for you personally and make sure your shit is good to go.
We'll give it the kiss of death.
Where'd you get that? Nemo Racing.
Nemo Racing, mate.
Boom.
So there we go. Thanks, chaps.
Hit the like, hit the dislike. We've had 3 dislikes. That's pretty strong for tonight. So thank
Cheers,
you.
producer Michael.
Yeah, dislikes probably done. So you may as well just go and subscribe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give it a thumbs up before you leave.
Give it a thumbs
And
up.
check out the promo video that went up a couple of days ago. Give that a thumbs up.
Check out a Leroy Tune It tip session tomorrow. That's going to get filmed tomorrow. That'll be live tomorrow. So go and check that out, and we will see you next week.
Catch you soon.
Awesome. Thanks
Bye,
for watching.
everyone.